a couple of weeks ago, I published an article about some Alteryx batch macro techniques I use. And if you go to my YouTube channel, it's called Alteryx batch macro techniques. You can find it. This is the list of the most current videos, but if you go to playlists and then scroll over to Alteryx, inside Alteryx, today I'm going to talk about here's the video. So this technique is great. I use it all the time, but here's another example of it that I want to show you today, which is how to efficiently download the data that you need for that example that I showed in the previous video. So what do I mean by that exactly? We'll have a big data source that has billions of records. And within that data source, there are multiple types of data that I have to compute with. So I'll just quickly essentially tell you that there's data related to cash payments, there's data related to leases, and data related to finance payments. So I have to query the database, get the particular records I need to be able to do the calculations that I need that I showed in the previous video. So how do you set this same technique up to efficiently grab 3 data sets per month? And that's what this video is about. So looking in Excel again, I have this basic spreadsheet that is the driver for my process. And so again, I have in column A, I have something called run it. And if run it is a 1, then I actually will run that month. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So I run it as 1, so I'm going to run October of 2021, which is where we are now. And this is the mid-month date that I use in the query. So this is an important part of what I'm about to show you. And by naming the month in the way that I do here, month_year, that gets embedded in the output file paths in a couple different places here. So this is the data sets. So it's in the data directory, October 2021, cash purchase data with October 2021 put right into the file name. So there's no ambiguity for me. So I have cash payment, lease payments, and finance payments. So those are the fields I have to work with when I'm going to show you this batch file. So in Alteryx, then, I have 3 sections. I have pull cash purchase data, pull lease, pull finance, and this thing is actually running right now. And what we're going to do is, right now I'm only pulling 2 of the 3 simultaneously because I'd already pulled this one. And if I hadn't pulled it, this window would be open, this container would be open, and 3 simultaneous queries would be running. But as you can see, 2 of them are running here. So let's take a look at the batch part in here for the cash purchase, and that's what this is. So all this really does, it's pretty simple, is it's going to do an in-database query shown here with a mid-month date. It shows up twice. And so the first thing that's going to happen is that mid-month date is going to get replaced as shown here. So 9/15/2021 is going to get replaced with whatever's in the database. So it's going to get replaced with, in this case, 2021/10/15. So that's the first substitution that happens. The data is streamed in. The size of the data gets optimized with this command, this select tool, where I have read in the data types. And then these of course have been predetermined and stored to a local file. They get read in at the time after the query is streamed in, because what's going to happen is when it gets streamed in from Hadoop, this is going to be all V strings of whatever size. So I want to compact that to the correct data type and the correct data size needed. This was predetermined and was set up using the autofield tool in previous examples. So once you have that, you write these data types, sizes to a file. How do you do that? Well, it's save slowed. You save the field configurations, and then you load those configurations once you have them saved. So that's how that's done. The last part of this is the writing of the data to an output file. So it's just getting written to a YXDB file, and the update command here is just simply changing the name of the output file. And so, of course, the output file names are coming from the dynamically created 3 columns of data here. So all you have to do then when you're setting up Alteryx is you just have to map, when you insert these macros, you just have to map the 2 fields, the mid-month date and also the output file name. And then the batch file takes care of everything else. So this is an easy way to download 3 massive data sets all in one step without having to run them 3 individual files. You just maintain the 3 macros. If anything changes, you just change it in the macro there, reset them and run. So that's how it's done. Just another example of using this methodology that I explained in the previous video, where I have a driver program. This is called the driver program for these batch macros. So thanks for listening.